Hello, everyone. I'm here. Today we are looking at a tier list for Final Fantasy XIV Limit Break 3's. I saw this and thought it would be a fun time to go through all of these and refresh myself with some of them and see where exactly they fit in the grand scheme of things for me. I know there's some that I feel like are at the top of my list, but you never know. That might change. This is a list created by Ellie. I will have the link down in the description below. I've gone ahead and added Viper and Pictomancer as this existed a little bit before those came to be. Now, before we go much further, I do want to throw out a little notice here. There will be a flashing lights warning in this video because as we're looking at the limit breaks, I will be showing clips of each limit break 3, and many of them, especially the caster ones, I'm looking at you, Red Mage, have very flashy lights. So this is your flashing lights warning for this whole video. Okay, so the first one that we have on the list is Angel Feathers, which is the Scholar Limit Break 3. This is an interesting one right off the bat because I don't hate it by any stretch of the imagination. Compared to some of the other healer limit breaks though, I'm not quite sure where I would put this. Because with Angel Feathers, the Scholar essentially pulses out a blast of energy and you have some feather effects going on. And Seraphim, the fairy, is floating around, being the one to discharge most of the energy. And it does look good. Where does it fit for me? I think, for me personally, I would probably put Angel Feathers as a B tier for me. Now, I am basing these purely off appearances and the aesthetics of how they look. So, I don't know. The Scholar one, while nice, it doesn't really have a lot that makes me go, ooh, or ah. Doesn't mean it's bad by any means. For the purposes of this list, though, it is B tier. Next up is Astrologian. Okay, so Astrologian, I'm going to tell you right now, this one's S tier. This one's absolutely S tier. When you slam that button, you explode into space. You become space. You create a miniature little galaxy that somehow revives your entire team. And from an aesthetic standpoint, I think it is one of the most beautiful limit breaks in the game. It is gorgeous. And as a space nerd, it definitely ticks off some boxes there. So the Astrologian limit break, Astral Stasis, it's called. That will be our first S tier for this list. Next up on the list, we have Ninja, which is Chimatsuri. So this one is definitely more on the flashy side, not the flashiest by any means. With this one, you have your character doing a lot of the ninjutsus very quickly, and you see this orb form around you with all of the ninjutsu symbols, and then it creates all of these knives, and then throws them at your enemy, which is pretty cool, all things considered. Where would I put this, though? Oh, gosh. So, I'm thinking like it's either upper B tier or like just into A tier if I had to wager. Oh, gosh. You know, I'm trying to look at these, like I said, purely aesthetically, right? I haven't really played Ninja a lot, which doesn't really matter in this case. It's just, how do I feel about this? You know what? I'm gonna go with my gut on this. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's another one where I think it's really cool. It doesn't have like a lot of awe factor for me. So I think a solid B tier is good for the Ninja. Now we have Crimson Lotus, which is the Dancer Limit Break 3. Now the Dancer Limit Break, I do really like. I like the colors. I like the animation graphics that get used. I like how the character kind of I mean, it's a blade dance. That is exactly what the LB3 is. And the dancer weaves through the mobs, essentially slicing everything with the chakrams. You know what? I think for me personally, I'm gonna put it in the A tier. And I think I realized what's really gonna be the key factor for me rating these. The dancer one makes my ADHD happy. So that alone is gonna have the dancer Crimson Lotus LB3 in the A rank. Next up is Dark Knight. Dark Knight Dark Force. So for this one, it's a wave of this dark energy, and it comes out like as an orb and covers the whole screen in darkness. Going into this, because before this video, this portion at least, was recorded, I went to a dungeon and recorded all of the LB3s so we could fit them in here for you to see. And as I was recording it, my initial thought with the Dark Knight LB3 was I was going to put it in C tier, because while the darkness does look cool, at the time I was like, well, you know, it's not super flashy. It's not like bright or anything. However, I thought about it more and I'm like, well, wait a minute, you know, this is Dark Knight. This is darkness. This is the abyss. How do I like the colors? Do I like the red and the black intermingling with like this really cool abyss looking graphic? And that answer is yes. That answer is very much yes. So I think that realization is enough for me to bump Dark Force up from C tier to, ooh, is it A or B for me? The more I'm thinking about it, is it A or B? You know what? I'm going to be putting it in A tier the more I think about it, because it really does look cool when you actually sit down and look at it. So I think that's going to be the decider there. What do we have next? We have Samurai. Samurai is Doom of the Living. Now, the Samurai LB3 is a very nice one. You do a bunch of these really cool sword slashes followed by this immense blast of ether from the blade. And it's definitely got that cool factor. It's definitely got the flashiness vibe to it. And I think it's personally one of my favorite melee limit breaks. And in general, I like the colors. I like the animation work that goes into it. I think this one's going to be an S rank for me. Doom of the Living is simply a very, very aesthetically pleasing limit break 3. Okie dokie. Dragoon. Dragon Song Dive. The Dragoon Limit Break 3, I would say, is one of the most notable limit break 3s in the game. And I'm basing that purely off of people I know who have never played Final Fantasy XIV, but they know what that limit break is and they know where it's from. Definitely notable. As far as how much I personally like the graphic, well, what do we have here? The Dragoon charges up and they summon this massive dragon, and the dragon and the Dragoon both in tandem launch at the target. And at the very end, the Dragoon drops back down and does this little pose before going back to their standard idle animation or auto attack. And overall, this is definitely a solid LB3. Hands down, would not doubt it. It's a very good one. So, how do I feel about it? Animation-wise, it's a dragon. All right. So, for me personally, it's going to be going to the B tier. And there's some factors as to why. It's mostly, I'm not the biggest into dragons overall. I don't hate them by any stretch of the imagination. They're very important for fantasy. As far as the limit break goes, though, I guess it doesn't really, it's on brand, right? I mean, it's a Dragoon. You want a dragon-themed limit break 3. Like, that's how that works. I guess simply for me, I don't know. It's basing it purely off of gut feeling. It feels like a B tier to me, and I can't really tell you why. It simply feels B. That being said, though, very, very good limit break. Alrighty. Oh boy, I might be. The next one is Pulse of Life from the White Mage. So, Pulse of Life. The White Mage essentially blasts out this large wave of ether. They kind of drop to their knees in this prayer. Overall, like the animation-wise, it is very fitting for White Mage. As far as the LB itself and the effects and like how quickly it goes out, I'm gonna have to put it in the C tier. As I was recording these videos, as far as the ooh shiny factor goes, something about the White Mage one kinda missed the mark for me. And I mean, I've raided Savage with White Mage. I've played a lot of White Mage, and yeah, it definitely hit the C tier for me. It's a solid okay for me, and I don't really think I can say much more than that as far as like how it looks. Again, it is very fitting for White Mage. As far as personal tastes go, it's definitely in the C tier. Bard, Sagittarius, Arrow. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, this was one of the first limit breaks I ever saw. And from the first moment I saw it, I thought it was like one of the coolest things from an animation standpoint, because the Bard goes down on one knee, aims toward the sky, and you just have this like heavenly light, and then boom, just golden arrows rain down everywhere. For me, the Bard LB3 is an S tier, hands down. Hands down an S tier. It has presence. It looks so cool. The radiant light. It's good. It's good. It definitely gives me some like Unlimited Bladeworks kind of vibes. Thumbs up, Bard. Very, very good. LB3. Paladin. All right, so last bastion for Paladin. For this LB, the Paladin essentially brings up these great pillars and these iron, stone, whatever you want to call them, kind of walls, just shove up and block the entire party to protect them from damage. It's like a big shield, right? That's Paladin's whole shtick. This is an LB that I have surprisingly, and this is mostly because I've not seen the Paladin LB3 a lot, because a lot of the tanks I run with until recently haven't been Paladins, so there hasn't been much of a chance for me to see it. I do like it though. I do like it. I like the idea of this mighty like bulwark rising up from the ground to defend your teammates, and I do think it's very fitting for Paladin. I would say among the limit breaks, it's probably one of the least flashy, but the overall like design of it really catches me. So I think for Paladin, I would put Last Bastion. Where would I put you? I'll probably put you in A tier. Something about it I really like. I like those big walls coming up to act as that defense. It makes the brain happy. Going on down the list, we have Meteor, which is a black mage. Now, Meteor is very to the point. You summon down a giant meteor and it literally wipes out everything around you. That is basically black mage at its core, just raw power, raw destruction, and Meteor is very popular. Now, how do I feel about Meteor, though? How do I feel about it? I think for me, at bare minimum, Meteor is B tier. Definitely B tier at bare medium. Because, I mean, it's a giant rock, right? It's a giant meteor that you're bringing down. And it looks like just the scope of it, how big the meteor itself actually is. I think it looks really sweet. I think it looks really good. For Black Mage, and the colors, the explosion, it all works. So for me, Meteor is in the B tier. Machinist, Satellite Beam. For this one, the Machinist summons in this like super drone, and it laser beams everything in a straight line. And I've always been very mixed on this one. Even as a Machinist enjoyer, I don't know. Something about this one has never really jived with me. Like, it makes sense for the Machinist to have, like, a large laser drone like this. And I don't know what else the LB would be for this, you know? However, when I think about it, my gut's telling me I feel like this one is a C tier. I feel like it's a C tier for me. Like, it's cool. It makes sense. Like, it comes in, it does its animation, big laser beam, flies off. It does look aesthetically cool, but it hasn't really, like, caught me, I don't think. Yeah. And that's really all I have for that. So Machinist is in the C tier. Next up is Sage. And I'm not going to try to pronounce that because I do not want to butcher it. I have an idea of what it might sound like. I'm not positive. That being said, though, the Sage Limit Break 3, that one, oh gosh, it's really cool. It doesn't necessarily make sense to me offhand because, like, the Sage summons this big, like, tree of life, and you have, like, all of these magical effects going on, the golden, it looks very impressive. I don't understand where the tree fits into the lore of Sage. I'm gonna have to look into that. Thankfully, that doesn't matter for this. I think it's a cool-ass tree. I think it's a really cool tree. And I'm starting to realize a theme, perhaps, with some of my favorite LBs. I'm still a little all over the place with it, though. Regardless, though, the Sage LB3, S tier. Hands down, S tier. Summoner Terraflare. We know it. We love it. It's Terraflare. The Summoner takes on the wings and essentially fuses with Bahamut. And pretty much explodes into this violent, like, magical bombardment. Very, very iconic LB3. It does feel like, I guess it's more, do I consider it more on the minimal side? Because at the core of it, it's simply your character taking on the wings. But at the same time, like, you explode, right? And all these cool spell effects happen. I think for me, it's on the same... I think it's equal to Black Mage. I think the Summoner Terraflare is equal to Black Mage, so I'm going to put it on the B tier. Once again, these are all simply my opinions, basing them off of gut feelings and how much my ADHD likes the shiny little lights. Some of them might make sense, some of them might not make sense as to what ranking I put them in, but it's all pretty much gut feeling based. Which brings us to Reaper, the end. With Reaper, you enter this really cool pose, you emit all of this demonic energy and the colors. Like, you have this very saturated red, and the slashes themselves kind of go into this almost like necrotic blue kind of vibe. Necrotic blue, I guess I've just invented a new color. Overall, I think it does look pretty good. I don't know where I'm putting it, though. I'm searching my feelings. I'm searching my inner gut. And one trend I'm noticing is all the ones I'm putting on the A tier have, like, these dark or, like, these red kind of glowy tones to them. And I'm realizing Reaper is no different, with the exception of Paladin. Paladin's just kind of there with its wall. Let me slide these down a little bit. There we go. I think for the similar reasons that I like Crimson Lotus and Dark Force, or why I'm putting Reaper at A, I just like the colors. I think that's really what it comes down to, is I just like the colors. Red Mage. All right. I'm going to be as fair as possible to Red Mage. Red Mage LB3, Vermilion Scourge. It's very bright. And it can be very distracting in a fight. And this is one of the big reasons why I put a flashing lights warning. The Red Mage LB3 is very, very, like, bold and in your face. Like, you have these runes on the ground. You have the white magic, the black magic. They're coming together into this massive, like, red magic explosion. And with what I previously said about the A tier and how I like the ones that are kind of red, you would think I would put the Red Mage one there. Overall, though, I think Red Mage is going to be a B tier for me. It definitely does have, like, a lot of cool visual effects going on. Also, I realize these poor casters have been lumped into B tier. I don't know. It's something about it that feels like a B to me. It simply feels like a B to me. I'm not accounting for like it flashbanging either. It's not a bad LB, all things considered, as far as like visual. It's definitely not my favorite though, which is why it's going to be Monk. Final Heaven. Ooh, Final Heaven's a big one, right? The monk charges up all of their energy and simply darts forward and unleashes it in this like cataclysmic explosion. It's a very straightforward limit break, and it's a very cool animation. Don't get me wrong. I think I've run into the spot where White Mage and Machinist fell for me, where they are still good limit breaks. However, they don't really like, I don't know. I don't really get the ooh, ah, when I see it fire off. Doesn't mean I hate it by any means. What it does mean though, is Monk's Final Heaven is going to be going into the C tier. Again, it looks cool. It's a very iconic limit break. And I use this one a lot. Yes, I used to be a Monk main a long time ago. I think it's a C for me. I think it's a C for me though. We're down to our final 4, and hopefully I'll be able to cut this video down because I'm looking at my record time for this and I'm like, ooh, Allie, you talk way too much, girl. Gunbreaker. The Gun Metal Soul. Gunbreakers is really pretty. You essentially discharge all of your Gunblade cartridges and form like this hexagonal bubble. I mean, it's a round bubble, but it has like a lot of hexagon designs on it to shield the party. And that's how they do their LB3. I know I haven't been taking sound effects into account for this. I do really like the sound effects on the Gunbreaker LB3. And I will honorable mention, White Mage LB3 has some nice little chime sound effects that often get lost in the sauce, as it were. And I only noticed them because I was recording these in Brave Fox Longstop. So shout out to the White Mage wind chimes when they do their LB3. So where does this Gunbreaker LB go for me though? For me, I would say it's in solid A tier for me. I would say it's a solid A tier. I like it. I like how it forms the dome. The effects are really cool and pretty. I know it's one of the newer LBs. I just really like the Gunbreaker one. So that one gets an A. Warrior. Landwalker. Similar to Paladin, the Warrior LB3 brings up a wall. However, it's a much different wall. It's these jagged, molten rocks that erupt from the ground. It's a really gnarly effect. It's a really gnarly effect. I remember the first time I saw it, I thought it was so cool. And I realized all the tank LBs are kind of residing and living in the A tier, which not a bad thing. Definitely noticing my brain has patterns. Landwalker is so dope though. I love Landwalker. And I started off this game as a Marauder. You know, the old axe was the very first weapon I picked up in Final Fantasy XIV. And the first time I saw this limit break, I was like, yo, that is so cool. It's like the raw power of the warrior is ripping these rocks out of the ground. And I think for that, I have to put that one in the S tier. It's a really cool one. I love the molten rocks. It's got a lot of cool visual factor for me. So, Viper, World Swallower. This one is very cool. The Viper takes on this power stance, both swords connected to each other. It charges up in this orangish, yellowish, reddish, lots of ish energy, which almost looks like fire and lightning combined. Then as you strike, your character coils upward and makes this snake-like pattern, which is very fitting for the Viper before you come back down and there is a massive explosion. And if you're wondering why this sounds a little bit different, I had to re-record this for some reason. The audio corrupted. Viper's definitely my favorite of the melees, and I think it would land in a solid A tier. And I will push it up here. It's probably the leader of the A tier if I had to guess. I don't really know what particular order I would put these in overall. Viper would definitely be the leader of the A tier, though. It's a really cool and really pretty limit break. Pictomancer. Pictomancer's LB3 Chromatic Fantasy. As we are going based off of visual effects, this is S tier. I'll say that outright because I'm going to yap. The Pictomancer LB3 is my favorite LB in the game, period. There are so many little things going on in this LB, so many little effects and sparkles, and you got the little paint Spriggan, who is, I guess, not so little, who comes in and blasts everything. Everything about the Pictomancer LB3, I love it so much. And this is like where my ADHD is like shining the brightest. Even though I don't main Picto, it's such a gorgeous LB3. It really is. And I really don't get to see it that often. Because, you know, typically if you're in a single target raid or something like that, unless something very terrible has happened, you're typically not going to be seeing like the caster LBs come out. They're more situated for like AoE scenarios, or if you don't really have anything else to use. If you get the chance though, go into like Explorer mode and take a look at the Picto LB3. It's pretty. Art team, fantastic job on that. Fantastic job. And because of that, Picto will take the top spot of the S rank. And I guess that about covers everything. Blue Mage doesn't necessarily have a true limit break to its own, and the new jobs aren't out yet, and we don't really even know what those are yet. So that's all we got for now. But this is kind of my take on the limit breaks. And I noticed it's pretty like evenly cut between S, A, and B. Going into this, like I had a gut feeling nothing would be in the D rank. I had a gut feeling that nothing would be sitting down here in the D rank. If I did have to put something down in the D rank, it would be that like pseudo limit break that Blue Mage can access when you're doing like squadron dungeons. And I'm pretty sure anyone can get access to that. It's been so long. But yeah, no, this is where I'm at with all the LB3s. Again, these are purely my opinions, my gut feelings. And none of the ratings here really mean anything is good or bad. It's purely a case of which one did I see and go, ooh, like immediately on. But yeah, I will link this down below if you want to rank your own for the LBs. If you have your own opinions on the LBs and reasons why you like the ones you like, I would be more than happy to read in the comments. Thank you all for watching. My name is Ali. I might do some more tier lists in the future if I can find some fun-looking FF14 ones, or maybe I'll make some. So that is all I got. I'm going to get out of your ears for now. Have a good one, and thank you for watching.